Check. 3, 2, 1, go. I'm Pat.
I'm Will.
Hey, I'm Jeffrey. We got some new artwork up today. Enjoyed quite a lot of it. I never thought about dinosaurs playing poker, but
That one's really good.
It said tyrannical. Tyrannical. So
Yeah.
I just thought Tyrannosaurus. Why not?
look. I'm not here to interfere with your creative process. It's the last thing on my mind that I thought would develop, and I was surprised with how much I enjoyed it. I'm here for it, Will.
Strange enough, while I was looking through other samples, like I pull some of the way they write, some of the descriptions,
Okay, yeah.
there was actually one of guinea pigs playing poker in Vegas. And I was like, all right, dinosaurs playing poker in Vegas.
Okay, all right, gotcha.
Only it was very cartoony.
Well, no, so it sounds like, much like actual artwork, there's a very organic development of...
You try,
eyeballs, yeah.
and I have a picture in my head, and many times it doesn't come close.
Right.
And then you gotta scramble around and see what's gonna come
There's
up.
a lot of guys who are doing this now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You can tell, like, some people put a lot of effort into it, and then some people, it's just like, what has it got in there? And it's just vomit something out. And
Which
so-
is cool, too, sometimes,
It is,
because
yeah.
the pure randomness that it comes up with is like, all right, I don't know where you came up with this, but in you go.
Well, especially if it spawns about an idea, yeah?
Yeah. Well, I mean, some of the ones that we did with... What did you guys use before?
What were we using? It was,
The program?
something IO or something...
Something.
Oh, but yeah, some of
what
the
it's
stuff it
called.
would just come out with when you just type it in. I was like, hey, that's hilarious. Like,
Oh, like poo in the city water, yeah.
Joey. Yeah.
so yeah, it's interesting for some of
I
the
want to talk about poop in the city water. We'll save it till Sunday, though.
Are you
Is that going to be your entire show?
My ocean is the Red Sea.
Yeah, I'm having concerns.
Do people die?
No. I mean, I don't see them swimming in it, but...
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You don't
No, but they're
you don't fish
drinking
out
it.
there?
Not mine. So,
They are in yours.
What, drinking it?
not the poo water, no.
They choked it for a little bit in mine. It's
Yeah, I'm running into problems. We gotta go through those.
Yeah, we got problems. I got problems. You know,
Yeah.
it's a lot of it is financial.
I don't have I have garbage problems. I do not have financial problems.
Okay. All right.
Oh, aren't you importing garbage?
Not anymore.
Oh,
no. No, the finance problem's easy. You just need to keep unemployment at like 10%. Ignore your fucking demand bar down there.
Yeah.
The thing you should be clicking on is unemployment.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right.
That fixes your money problems.
You owe me an apology.
About what? I'm sorry.
That's blanket. I'm sorry
Yeah,
about
sure.
everything.
No, if Jeff calls me out on something, I'm usually wrong. So it's fine.
Well, I'm curious now.
Well, no, I had to check what I knew. So, it's about knuckle dusters.
Oh, I did look into that. Okay, so that is a knuckle duster, but I'm also right on that one.
Because it's all about the what it.
It's different than what I thought it was. There's a little brass pistol that we used to use in the gun club, and they
Yeah.
called it a knuckle duster. It's about the size of a credit card. So
Now, that doesn't mean that's also not called that. But I was like,
Right.
why am I thinking that this is the case? Because I'd never seen that pistol.
yeah,
It was like,
yeah, but I didn't realize brass knuckles were also called knuckle dusters. So
well, because it's the. Yeah.
I guess, but yeah, it's like, dusting somebody. Is that where that comes from?
I didn't look at the etymology.
Yeah. I was curious.
Because my whole thing was like, well, why do I know this way? It's like, I have no idea what type of fucking gun he's talking about.
Yeah. No, I Googled that the other night because I was curious. And yeah, the brass knuckles came up first on the list.
Yeah.
So, but if you scroll down a little bit, there's the pistol. So
I
it's
think
like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I think that's part of like a catch-all term about those things that the rings over the.
But the pistol doesn't have that. So I'll show it to you
At
after
all?
the show. No, it's weird.
Oh,
So,
I thought. I thought you said that it could
I thought it did too, but the one that I was looking at, I was like, oh no, that's the one we used to have in the club, and it actually fits in your hand. So, but it doesn't have rings on it. It has one ring maybe on the bottom of it, but you use that to attach it to a chain. So,
Oh, so that's not for your fingers.
So it's not big enough for your finger. It's a little loop. So I'll show you.
Hold
a
on.
picture.
Okay, so let me ask you this here. Like, isn't there another term for like duster? Isn't that another term like within the gun community?
A duster?
Yeah.
Not that I've
I know
heard.
it's a kind of like a jacket. I know
It's a
it's
coat.
yeah. Yeah.
I've never heard of duster.
Okay.
So, gun tube probably has something on there, but
They don't.
I'm not putting that
stuff.
shit on my
It's
fucking
all-
feed. Yeah.
It's all theoretical weird things. It's I did watch one about the what was it that H&K disaster that was supposed to be the next assault rifle.
They've had many of those, man, over the years. So
This one with the explosive bullets.
I didn't see that one, but I know that they've tried to replace the M4 like 5 times now. So they do have one out. It's like the MX now. That's supposed to be pretty good, but they tried replacing it a couple times. The same thing like back with even when they were trying out the M4, was to replace the M16. There were a couple attempts. I know that it was H&K that made an attempt in there. So
Yeah, this thing was fascinating. So all right, so it's a little bit more inland. So there was this thing. So it has two components where the top part, right, is it fires explosive bullets, right?
explosive bullets,
Uh-huh.
like impact rounds, or
Check this out. Okay, so this thing, when they tried it out in the field, right, it had two components, right? Because then the actual rifle would be underneath.
so it had 2 barrels.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Now I have not seen this one.
All right.
No.
So this was the first thing. Now, the first problem was that it was too heavy, right?
Yeah.
All right. And the second thing was using it as a war crime. So,
Using it's a war crime?
yeah. So this was something that I didn't really know of, but explosive rounds are not permitted.
Well,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, like, so grenades are okay, but exploding bullets aren't?
Correct.
But
So-
a grenade is a bigger exploding bullet.
That is correct, and they measure it by size, right?
So if it's less than 40 millimeters, it's illegal.
Check this out. All right, so this thing, when they actually tried it out, the first construction they said it sucked, right? Because it was way too heavy, and the only thing that you had to like change the essentially the grenade part from the bullet part was just like a little switch over here.
Yeah,
right?
okay.
So it was like pretty easy to just leave it one way or the other, right? It also had this huge viewfinder on it,
Oh,
right? And they had a problem where, well, how are these guys going to keep changing and loading these expensive ass batteries into it? Because yeah, the whole thing was the viewfinder was electronic the whole time, right?
oh, okay.
So they ended up having to split it into two things, right? The rifle and the grenade gun. It's like, all right, well, the grenade gun, this is cool, right?
Yeah.
And so I guess they gave it to a couple divisions. They said, try out this grenade gun. So what they did was they made it a little bit bigger. And the way that this works here is like, this is genius. So, all right. So if there's a like a wall over there, and there's a top on the wall, right? Like you can see over the top of the guys hiding behind it.
Oh, so you shoot through the wall.
No, what you do is you look in the viewfinder, right? It'll determine like, okay, so from here to here it's 40 yards, right?
So, okay, it's got a rangefinder.
Yeah. So what you do is then you just say, okay, well, if he's behind the wall, okay, click it 1 foot more, right? And the round will explode at 41 feet. So you shoot over
Over the wall. Okay. I
What's
got it.
igniting it?
Well, you
It's-
can just you can do it with the timer fuse. So
Oh,
yeah,
gotcha.
Right.
they've had those since World War II. So
Yeah, it's just you laser it in, and it says like, okay, this, click it, one above, right? Okay, this is cool, right? But the thing is, it's still because it's still too small. It's just an explosive round.
yeah, I didn't know explosive rounds were illegal.
Yeah,
For what? Like Geneva? Or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of shit that's illegal in Geneva that we don't sign off on, like landmines. So, we're fine with landmines. So,
Well, the part of it that you have to dispose of them.
yeah, that's why we just leave them all right next to North Korea. So, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
You can decay them or you can step on them. Either one's fine by us. Yeah. So,
But yeah,
but even like some of the stuff that we sent to Ukraine is not okay under Geneva Conventions. But we're like, nah, we don't give a shit.
is it gray or is it like?
No, it's pretty clear. But usually what it is a bunch of like pacifist European countries passing bullshit. And then it gets signed off, and whatever the update is on Geneva that they do every few years or something like that. And we're like, yeah, we're cool with all of it except for that. So we'll sign off on everything except for that. So, yeah. I didn't know explosive rounds were on there.
Yeah, because I mean, ultimately, you're not supposed to. The whole impetus behind this is you're not supposed to shoot people with explosive rounds.
Because it makes a big mess.
Oh,
yeah.
So it's okay to just shoot them with grenades instead. Yeah. So if you're gonna do it right.
You gotta wipe out the mess.
Right. Yeah.
That's where they objected on this. It was like, okay, well, but you could just shoot somebody with explosive rounds.
Right.
Like, well, I guess.
Yeah.
So, all right, I got it.
Yeah.
But,
I don't know.
yeah, they have. I didn't look into it fully. This was just like the first thing that went into depth about why these things are in place. Now, certain things, of course, I understand, like no gassing people. Like, yeah.
Yeah, you're not supposed to gas people. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we never signed off on that either. We used to have a
Really?
Oh fuck! Oh, we had a shitload of chemical weapons. So in fact, we just got rid of them just like the last 4 or 5 years. So we had tons of it.
Because technically, like tear gas is the shit.
This was
the
mustard
cops
gas.
use.
Yeah. We had this stuff for it's the other one, phosgene. We had a shitload of phosgene gas. The whole idea was if the Soviets broke through Germany, we were going to gas Germany. So it basically make it impossible for them to get to France. Yeah. So all that shit was stored down in Pueblo too. So
We didn't use it.
we didn't use it.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a crime to possess it.
I don't know. Yeah.
You can't sell it.
Man, there's so much bullshit about war crimes going on lately that you just, you gotta you gotta go look it up.
People, I mean, it's tough, especially when it comes to like civilian areas and things like that. And
Well, white phosphorus. You know how many people I've said, it was, oh, that's white phosphorus. It's like, no, it's not. It's a fucking smoke grenade. So, tons of that shit out there. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And again, it's the whole thing. Like they're like, well, you can't target civilian areas. Blah blah blah. It's like,
well, you can't hide the bad guys in there either.
that's
man.
correct.
Yeah,
You can't
exactly.
use them as human shields.
Yeah.
So that is not a catch-all to go out there, do shit, come back home, and say, no, you can't shoot it this year, right? Because yeah,
Safe zone.
Yeah. Car.
My kids play tag that way.
yeah, exactly. Because
I need a break.
at that point, yeah, you just have to be like, oops, my finger slipped. Sorry, guys. We didn't mean to. There must have been a targeting malfunction.
You want to find loopholes? We can find loopholes too.
Targeting malfunction. That's a munition that's designed to hit something within a meter.
Oh, you got to forgive Dan. It's his first day.
It's his first day.
Yeah.
That's what they do. They bring in all the new guys. Like, all right, it's gonna fire itself, but you guys are manning the system.
You gotta just push this button.
Just target whatever.
This gives us plausible deniability. We need you.
I don't think they're denying it at this point. I think there's calls for like ceasefire and stuff, but my understanding is that is not happening.
I can't see how that would actually happen.
Dude,
So,
I'm at a loss on this. There's part of me that says that I am so sick of the minimizing to say that leave these people alone or whatever. I don't know.
what, the Palestinians?
Yeah.
The Gazans in
Yeah,
particular?
I'm at a hard point as far as making a
don't know.
judgment on this, and maybe I just shouldn't. Maybe it's just whatever happens, happens.
I think that's gonna happen. Yeah, regardless of what input we have to put into it. But I mean, like the thing is I mean,
Do you think
go for
that
it.
people here actually care as much as all these protests are doing, or they just
I
want to
doubt
make
it.
noise?
I haven't seen a single protest on my campus.
Oh,
So yeah, there was a little one up in Denver the other day. So, and the Denver Post was squealing about it, but then it showed a picture and it was like maybe 100 people. You know, I mean, you get more people like to protest just about anything in Denver. You know, I mean, it's got what 3 million people. It's not hard to scrape up 100 people to
Yeah,
get mad
especially
about
with, like,
something.
Free donuts.
Well,
And you're
sure,
just
yeah.
like, "All right."
Or if the weather's nice, whatever, you know. So yeah, it was pretty pathetic, man. And then what is it? Even some of the campus ones, because they had that one at where was the guy arrested the other day, and everybody was like, oh, you know. Did you see
Well,
that?
there was the London.
No. This was in the States somewhere. So there was a guy who was making threats against Israel or Jews
Oh,
on campus.
yeah,
They
yeah,
arrested
yeah,
each of the
yeah.
picture. That guy's fucking Chinese, man.
Yeah, he sure is. Yeah, he sure is. He's very Chinese. He's like, but he got problems, man. They went through, they looked through that guy's history, and that dude's got some issues.
Is he actually from China? China?
I don't know if he's from China,
Oh, okay.
but he's he definitely ain't Palestinian.
Right. Yeah, but they actually arrested him, and so there was this like somewhat outcry until they posted his picture, and everybody's like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah, I mean, there's no two ways around it. Like that dude, that dude's got problems, and you know I think the parents were saying like he'd been suffering from depression. I'm like, yeah, I've had depression. It didn't make me want to kill Jews, man. It's like that's not how it works.
Yeah.
It makes you want to not get out of bed.
Yeah.
Are there that many people that don't like Jews? Like, I don't think that people
yeah, I
cared
didn't
about
really-
like this kind of stuff one way or another.
I don't
Everyone
think
was
they're
like,
actually out there to protest the Jews. I mean,
Some guys are.
Some guys are. That's true. That's true.
So it
So-
just gives those guys an excuse to go out there and
Well, all
Hard
right.
up.
So, all right, I'd put it this way. So, like, whenever the World Cup happens, right? There's a bunch of people that are, you know them, they're perfectly normal. You ask them like what they like, they're like, oh, I like the Giants, I like this and this. But every year when the world, when the World Cup pops up, suddenly these flags of unknown origin start to make their way into like the bigger cities, where it's like, yeah, Portugal forever. It's like, I didn't even know you were Portuguese, right? But now suddenly it's the biggest thing in the world, right? Same thing like those Ireland flags and the France, Italy, and all this other stuff. I think part of this is that same sort of like Palestinian, like, hey, look at us. Because like, why would you only hear about it now? After y'all did shit.
yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's true. That's a good point.
You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like
I hadn't thought about it that way.
it's insane. It's insane.
I don't know, man. I think a lot of it is. It's just it's the soup du jour too for your angsty laptop class.
Yeah.
Yeah, who?
Seen any Ukraine stuff lately? No.
No, that's because all the Ukraine stickers on fucking Twitter came down and got replaced by Palestinian flags,
Yeah.
which has now been grafted onto your favorite flag as well. I saw that the other
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
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 So the LGBT, whatever,
Oh,
the rainbow flag, the rainbow people,
Gosh,
have
yeah.
grafted the Palestinian flag.
So, yeah.
So-
Yeah, well, you can wave that all you want while they throw you off the roof.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
I
y'all
get-
don't.
I get why they care about it over there, but I'm just like, people over here don't care.
Yeah.
What the hell? Like,
Well, and that's been my whole concern here. Is like, so you're seeing these demonstrations, breaking out in places like New York is flooded with it. London, all these.
Oh,
Germany.
London's got everybody beat.
Yeah, London is.
The London one was humongous. So
Yeah, but because then my concern is like, well, guys, this is London. Your issue is several thousand miles that way, right? If you have a problem, go take it up with them. Why are you causing a ruckus here?
Yeah, what is London doing?
What does
Well,
New York
London's
have to do with it? What is
So first off, like London's not really England anymore. It's kind of its own. It's like Singapore. It's its own international city, and a lot of refugees have made it to London over the last 10 years. So, okay. In Germany, like that one was interesting because that's where the police were beating the shit out of these guys. So
you can't like it's
like, wait a minute, you got swastikas in this group? Okay,
exactly,
yeah, that's when the batons come out.
Yeah.
And the New York one, there's been a couple in New York, but they've been kind of limited at the campuses. And they had one in the Grand Central Station the other day.
Blown up into the streets too.
Yeah, but it wasn't that big. So, I mean, it looked big depending on which Twitter feed you were watching on that one, but it wasn't like the London one. So
Nothing is like
the London one was impressive. So
nothing is like the London one. Yeah.
Yeah, but there's a guy that I follow, and his daughters were at the New York Grand Central Station one, and they're just like super liberal college kids. So the London one is like, where the fuck did all you guys come from? So
Well, they know where they came from.
well, no, there's plenty of like very British speaking people.
Oh yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. They know where they came from.
So, but there ain't that many students at Oxford. So yeah, so that one didn't really, man. The same thing. The weird ones in Australia are just crazy, man. So
It's got nothing to do with you, right? It's
you talk about as far from Palestine as you can probably
yes.
get. Yeah.
Your policies have nothing to do with
Right.
this, right? And yeah, if you have a problem with it, go get on a plane, head that direction, and take it up with those people there. Because again, same thing in New York. It's like, what do you want us to do?
Well, yeah, everybody's calling ceasefire and we want you to condemn Israel for war crimes and things like that. And then what was it? Friday last week? Congress passed that resolution that was 400, or no, I'm sorry, it went through the Senate too. So it was 525 to 10 in support of Israel.
Sorry, man. Like, I get it, and
one of those 10s was Republican.
well, yeah,
One.
yeah.
There was one.
There
was one guy.
I can understand the dissension too, but at the same time, like, sorry, dude, I'm never going to side with the group that's
Cutting people's heads off.
correct.
Well, even if they didn't do that,
And
whatever,
holding
it's a rapey murder crowd,
Yes.
so that absolutely needs to be dealt with. I mean, they had the thing but Blinken was in the Senate yesterday, and
Yeah.
the guy's holding up red hands, and everybody's like, you guys know where that came from, right? So, and the answer was no. So, nobody knew where it was, and so, some people on Twitter who are a little bit more astute was like, yeah, it's from this picture where they tore a guy apart with their bare hands. So
Dude, it's ridiculous, and
it's crazy.
yeah, it's probably not going anywhere for a while. It's probably just going to peter out when it's done, but I have no idea.
It's possible, man. I mean, the one thing that I find interesting is the fracturing on that side, because I've seen people who used to lockstep, shoulder and shoulder, Bernie Bros, whatever, and they fucking fighting like crazy right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like, oh, okay, so you guys on the far left, you found yet another way to not agree with people you should agree with.
Right.
So yeah, it's like BLM all over again, man. So
Jeff's favorite.
well, yeah, except for it's even like there's less solidarity because you excised the most liberal Jews from the entire thing, and they were some of your biggest BLM supporters. Oops. So,
That's correct.
and now you see some of these guys checking out. It's like, oh well, I'm a Jew, but I'm for ceasefire. So it's like, yeah, but you're still for socialism, aren't you? Well, yeah. It's like, well, those are your people. They don't know they're not my people. It's like, well, then you got a political problem, don't you? It's time to fish or cut bait.
you have to start making decisions about who gets to stay in the club.
Correct. Yeah.
And look, I'm going to say this: like, both parties have had this reckoning, right? And
The Republicans just went through it, man.
They did. Look,
Hey man, it looks like they solved it though, man. That dude looks pretty sharp. So
he does. There are people. It's interesting that dude is sort of like a callback. You know, he does have some like Christian fundamentals and that kind of
that's
stuff.
fine.
But
I don't have
I
any
don't give
problems
a
with
shit.
that. That's better than crazy. So
I agree. You see, this is the thing is, if you think about
better than having an OnlyFans account.
like I don't know, I haven't heard too much. You know, there's been way too much lately for us to keep focusing on who gave who a handy at the play.
Right.
You know, so that's
Oh yeah.
yeah, that's local news.
That's local news. So,
I did
you
not
got
hear
billboards
that
up down south, man.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Well, she was at a play with some Democrat bartender, you know,
From
doing
Aspen.
stuff. Yeah,
This was Warren Bovert.
yeah,
Yeah.
one. Gotcha.
and
So
yeah, that just kind of disappeared into the ether. It was funny for a bit, but yeah,
it was kind of funny.
yeah. So there's just way too much, way bigger fish to fry. Like that would be in a in a different news cycle. That would be a big deal. You know,
Yeah,
because
it's not.
yeah, she was like vaping all the way through, just being like, just like the whitest of white trash.
Well, the funniest thing about it was she denied it all, and then they were like, "Okay, here's the video," and it's like, "Wow, it was way worse than what you guys were saying."
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's funny, but yeah, it's
Just sitting there blowing smoke like that robot, you know?
straight to my favorite restaurant.
Right,
Huh?
exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right on the Karen in front of her too, man.
Oh.
So you gotta make this stick to the back of your neck.
Yeah. I don't know if I were to guess like what flavor she's into, it's probably like motor oil.
No,
you know,
man,
or-
it's got to be something that's like super, like a combination that's just unholy. So, like, yeah, some like, you know, pomegranate, cherry,
you know, I still think there's a touch of something vile in there. I still think there's like
yeah,
yeah, she has the one vape made from like Copenhagen. Yeah,
right,
it's,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Ugh.
So she was just vaping in like a movie theater or something?
It was a play.
a play.
A play?
It was a
Okay.
play. It was in the Ogden, if I'm not mistaken. It's like, or the Buell. It was the fancy theater up in Denver. So
Yeah, the Ogden's not that.
no, the Ogden is a piece of shit. Yeah, I've been there. Never mind. It's the Buell. So
The Fillmore's nicer.
than the Ogden.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never been there.
Oh.
So yeah, I've never been to Buell either. I'm not rich. I'm not that rich. So, but yeah, it's it was like she was there, you know, with a guy who runs a fancy pants bar in Aspen. I think he owns it, which to be fair is in our district, but it was a date.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, she was totally white trashing
Just
it up.
like
Yeah,
trashing it
bad.
up. Like you
It was
just
bad.
you cannot
Dude.
you
was
just
bad.
cannot escape your upbringing.
Well, I mean, at least try. So, you know?
I know. Yeah. It's just yeah, it's absolute lipstick on a pig. It's like I know.
She knows that there's cameras everywhere. Like, come on.
Well, if she didn't, she does now. But, you know, I don't know, man. I think she's going to get her ass kicked, and she's going to be on Fox News the week after that. So they're going to give her a show. So, yeah.
No, and I have seen like when it comes to people like scooching over, I did see like snippets of Jen Psaki's, you know, show, and she's just as much a shill as you thought she was gonna be.
Oh, didn't she go to MSNBC? Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's-
okay. That's kind of like pigs coming home or chickens coming home to the farm.
No, there's an angle of this where you can come in there and you can be like an insider or part of a group from wherever, and you can use this to kind of like use your experience and say like, hey, I know this, and here let me try to pretend to add some credibility to myself by basically like it's like a sports writer, right? You can't just like constantly just like say the home team's the best, even if they're
Oh.
good. you have to downplay him a little bit
Man,
because otherwise you're like a homer.
I haven't
right?
seen anybody do that since like Chris Matthews, man. It's
Well,
been ages since
have you
somebody's been able to
seen
get away with that.
Kaylee McEnany on
McEnany?
Fox? Does she like? Is it
Yeah.
basically the opposite?
Actually, yeah, that's a good point. I had forgotten about her.
I did too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's all over Fox. Like she's got like 2.
She
shows
is, but she does punch back at Trump.
I think so.
Yeah, she
so I
does.
think that's kind of
That's
what you're
what I'm talking
saying.
about,
You
yeah.
gotta be able to.
You have to make some contritions in order for people to buy it. Again, it's the same thing where like if it's the home team, you have to take swipes at, even if your quarterback's number one, you're like, you know what, but he's got room to improve. Right?
Yeah, but that doesn't exist on blue team right now. Yeah, you get ousted quickly. So like red team still got
Well,
like
they
a
get to
little
do it.
fight going on, because
They can do it on blue team if they're picking on Biden.
Oh yeah, okay, that's a good point. Yeah, you're right.
Well,
He's like the target.
Yeah.
He
Target
he's
that
everybody's
everybody
favorite
gets
target.
to just
Yeah.
throw some stuff in, but just still support. But you get to just be like, yeah.
Well, then you get confronted with vote blue no matter who, kind of thing. So it's like you don't want Donald Trump to win, do you? But yeah, that's true.
Elections have consequences, guys.
I have seen a lot of people on the left, lately pounding on Biden,
Yeah.
particularly over Israel.
Yeah, there's
particularly over that. There's like, they got the one guy in the Democrat Party who's got bona fide creds on this.
There's definitely that, man. And like, this is where I was saying, I don't want to say that everything on Red Team is in the past in terms of like the splintering, but I mean, I've been seeing them. We watched them go through a lot of their like, oh, this is it for them, right? Well, it never got co-opted by the Tea Party, right? There was a mild standoff.
The Tea Party kind of turned into something else.
I agree,
So,
but
yeah.
I mean, that was, you remember at the time,
That's
that
10
was
years ago, if you think.
I know.
A long time ago.
I know.
That was Romney era. So
It's
actually,
not even
it
before
was
then,
before.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
Obama. Yeah.
Yeah. And I knew guys at the time, like, this makes sense.
Are you carrying your pocket constitution around? Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, I have been taxed enough already.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've been seeing those guys splinter out, but yeah, it's the other.
Well,
other
they got
team's turn.
co-opted by Tiki Torch Nazis too, so that did happen.
The fakest of fake shit.
It's embarrassingly
ridiculous.
bad. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was embarrassingly bad. It's like you guys got those at Costco, didn't you? Yeah.
This is embarrassing. It's the same guys with the fresh out of the wrapper fucking swastika shirts in Florida.
Who are these guys?
Oh, these dorks that were on the bridge that were.
When was this?
Oh, this is what I'm talking. This is like about a month ago.
Oh, I didn't catch
That same dude with that guy with all the face tattoos, who was in Ukraine. It's just a part. Yeah, again, another like. So you guys are Nazis, huh? Really?
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting. Okay, tell me more.
Right? You have any literature? Yeah.
We do not support
Another,
the.
please, sir.
Yeah. We do not support the global Zionists. What's this word? Yeah, it was pathetic. Yeah.
Hegemon. Yeah.
Is that a thing? Yeah, it's
That's a thing.
Yeah, it's a thing. Yeah. But yeah, there has been some dissension about. I mean, dude, this is the same shit where, like, again, it's just when Anna Kasparian says, like, no, I'm on board with you for a lot of
I'm
things.
not a birthing
but
person.
don't call me a birthing person.
Right, yeah. Oh, and she became persona non grata almost
Absolutely.
instantaneously.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I mean, just remember that.
God, and she used to be their attack dog too. for
Oh yeah,
years,
yeah, happily.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, happily. You
Yeah.
just point her at a target, she'd go bite it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, she would go seek out like fucking like Bill O'Reilly or
She was
or-
she was a Hannity seeking missile.
yeah,
So, yeah.
and go cause a ruckus at for fighting. It's like, wait, Alex Jones is here. Okay, yeah,
I'll
we
get my
gotta go.
Yeah.
We gotta go start some shit. It's the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, she's been completely ousted. No.
Remember, Rowling was a leftist icon
Yeah.
until
Anybody who's read her books would be Like, this is the most diverse thing I've ever read in children's literature.
It doesn't have to be
It doesn't
either.
have to be either. I made it that way.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, it's like, oh, you're a Nazi. Really?
Me?
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 So, yeah.
What do you mean I hate women? Let me show you my checkbook. It's like, did you write all these checks?
You know, that's not that's been pushed kind of the back burner too, man. So, you know, with all the Israel stuff. So,
The game thing?
well, no, like I saw something not too long ago about swimming competitions. Was it swimming
Oh, yeah.
competition?
That's
No, it was MMA or something like that.
Well, there's a little bit of both. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but they all
thing's been going for a while.
well, yeah, but they walked out on it and they said, "No, we're not going to compete." And then the MMA guys or ladies did the same thing. They were like, "We're not going to fight that dude." So yeah, and normally in any other news cycle it'd be like a ruckus. So, but it was like eep.
Oh, yeah, I know. Like, same thing where, what was it? I can't remember which magazine named Dylan Mulvaney.
It was a British one. I saw that. Yeah.
Woman of the Year.
Douglas Murray was on that instantaneously.
Yeah, it's funny because, like, I know that the only reason that you do that is to basically drum up, you know, some kind of like controversy, but people didn't care at the time. Like,
No.
no, we got other stuff going
No,
on.
man,
Sorry.
get off my statues.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
You disgust me. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's that. It was I can't remember what fucking gross ass hag won like spot number 92 on like the most beautiful women list. It was another, you know, trans person. And I was like, really? Like, because yeah, this was in Australia. That's right.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
right. That's right. Because it was in Australia, and they did that for like 92nd. They did the top 100 most beautiful women in
They
Australia.
put a trans woman on there.
And I said something. I was like, it was like 92. It's like you couldn't find like this is on your top 100. It's like people in Australia must be hideous.
What, like, before COVID, was Australia like anything remotely like this, or did COVID just break them?
Yes and
they...
no.
Bro, Australia's always been the land of
Fucking
extremes.
weird.
So
Oh,
yeah.
you have got, you know, I mean, people that would make Donald Trump look like a lifelong liberal Democrat living
Yeah.
down there alongside people who, yeah, make AOC look like a right wing, you know, nut job. So it is weird. I didn't know that until I started bumping into certain things here and there. I mean, so like Australia, they got this version of Fox News that is like concentrated Fox News.
That's where Murdoch comes from. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's one of his properties.
Yeah.
He's got several of them down there, but he's more of a newspaper guy.
Yeah.
He's actually retired now. He's done so, but you can find some really weird shit in Australia. Yeah. And apparently New Zealand is kind of the same way.
Same but different. But,
yeah, but not those guys.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Different enough to be different than Australia, but still weird compared to everybody else.
Yeah. No.
Because I mean, this is you got to remember, this is the same country that up until I don't know, about 2005, 2010, maybe even later, right? The treatment of their indigenous people.
I don't know anything about this.
Dude, okay, so I want you to picture this. This was something that was going on even till like at least like 2008, where like the indigenous areas were prohibited from selling alcohol.
Okay.
But you could go into...
Were they self-governed?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know. I mean, like, they weren't like reservations like what we have.
It's kind of like that.
Yeah,
But
but they
it's
decide
not.
their own liquor laws, or oh, okay, the government does.
No, this
Got it.
was it's that same kind of like if you think about where liberalism takes a turn to like really frightening in terms of stuff. It's like we have to manage your behavior.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
But you know, this thing where, you know, they looked at the problems they had. It's like, well, where does all our crime come from? It's like this group. And they're like, all right, well, we tried taking their kids away and making them live with white families.
Are you serious?
Well, that a while.
Okay.
Look, we used to do that here.
Yeah, 150 years ago.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But think about doing that a little bit later, and then still like, okay, well, they have problems with alcohol, so no alcohol in the indigenous areas.
So it's just very ham-fisted trying to fix it.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It's, so of course what they do is you just go to the next thing and but that was the thing was they had this problem where like, okay, so liberally we shouldn't be discriminating like this, but everybody in town says, well, I had a motorbike once, I can tell you who stole it, right? So they that's what I'm talking about, is like you have these weird extreme policies like we don't know what to fucking do anymore, right? And so this kind of thing, where you also, it's a small area. It's in terms of small population.
Well, all the population lives in basically 3 spots in Australia.
Yeah.
It's not even the edge. It's just like the left side, the right side, and a little bit on the top, and that's it. Yeah, and then the rest, the 98% of the country has like 2% of the people.
There's like
yeah, well, it's kind of like Canada. So
yeah.
Everybody lives next to the United States.
Pretty much.
Yeah, Walmart's over there, eh?
Yeah, it's utterly bizarre. Yeah, and same thing. You mentioned that you knew people who spoke about the bizarreness happening in Canada too.
Yeah, Canada's weird. So it's gone melty.
Gone melty.
Yeah. I haven't talked to any of my Canadian buddy. Well, I wouldn't even call this guy a buddy anymore.
Oh,
so he's kind of a douchebag, but
well, all right.
He's polite douchebag.
Okay, I thought Canadians were supposed to be nice,
but
some of them are.
I guarantee you, he's marching for Palestine right now somewhere. So he left back to his native land. So yeah.
Is he one of them?
I think he kind of is. Yeah. So, I don't know, man. It's okay. It's on that side of the border. It's not our problem.
That's correct. That's correct. The influence goes, down to up, not up to down.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, thanks to property prices, not many Canadians try and jump our wall. So, which isn't a wall up there.
I was like, we have a wall?
It's a clearing. So, yeah. If you've ever seen it, get on Google Earth. It's kind of interesting. So,
that zone of
it's a 200-mile
trees,
or it's a 200-yard wide, like shaving of the trees.
Huh.
So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like the whole border?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Oh,
so yeah.
They use those saws. If you've ever seen them.
Well, the ones where you just it's like the buzz saw that just slices vertical or horizontally.
Yeah.
So
it's crazy.
I mean, they already sawed it, so now all you do is just go in there and spritz it once a year.
Well,
I mean, yeah.
So they don't even want the animals to cross.
No, they do.
Oh, okay.
They don't care. Yeah. So, I don't know. I think there's actually a law where there has to be a clearly marked border, and that's what they just decided to do. So,
right. So
and if I'm not mistaken, it's actually the border is on the American side. So,
okay.
The line, so to speak.
See, that was my idea. On the other end, the one that you didn't like.
No, because yours involves landmines and machine guns and a lack of due process. So, which that border up there has none of those problems. The other border, the northern one.
Well, if you just consider them foreign combatants.
Yeah, okay, well then let's just declare war on Mexico, shall we? I mean, whatever. So,
well,
just if we could just declare people foreign combatants because we don't like them. We've already walked this road, Jeff. So
just call it a police action. It's fine.
Right? Yeah, it's fine. Then we can just drone people.
Right.
So some of them may or may not be American citizens. You never know. So
just read the sign, man. Read the sign. Go get processed. That's fine.
Yeah.
That just go to the road. That's where the process.
Well, see, that's the whole point. It's because 99% of the people who come across the border, where do they come across the border?
I don't know.
through the points of entry.
Well,
Yeah.
I thought it was.
I was like,
I was like, does he know?
I was like-
He's like, there's this magic tunnel.
I was like,
Just all-
No, it's
It
where the
legal,
gate
normal.
is.
El Paso?
Yeah, it's El Paso.
yeah. But
So-
no, if you're not following that, then yeah.
Okay, so you're gonna spend all that money to fix 1% of the problem.
It's symbolic.
I know you like it, so
No,
you
I don't
like the
like it.
idea of having a border wall that's got barbed wire and dogs, and and guys who get paid a lot of money to sit there and basically machine gun Gila monsters, because nobody's gonna show up there.
That is true. If you do make an example in one spot, they'll just go a couple miles down.
They'll just go to the crossing where there's they let you in at
Yes,
Juarez.
that's fine. That's where I want them to go.
Right, that's where they go.
Yes,
Yeah, so we don't need a murder wall.
I do because drugs.
Huh? They all get made here in the United States now.
Some of it.
Most of it now, actually. So fentanyl's actually very easy to make in the United States.
I've never tried.
No, I haven't either.
What do you need?
I don't know. I'm not going to Google that either. I mean, I might Google it on your computer.
Dude, you'd be surprised. Most of my weird Googling is done on the work computer.
That's a good plan. I should try it at work.
What, did
Huh?
Did something stink?
No, that was a bug.
Oh,
I had
okay.
a sink fly.
Oh, it's like, oh, okay.
I had a sink
What did I
mixed
do?
in.
No, because with all the like trials and shit, there's always like you have to check like, well, are they spelling gabapentin or whatever? You have to, yeah, and you're constantly looking up lawyers' names and drugs, and so
That's
All right.
because sometimes they don't have the spelling and the resources, so I'm like, is Dan McLeod of Odessa, Florida, a guy?
McLeod. Yeah.
And then the rest of it is I did come across one that was pretty funny. Was I would hate to be in a trial like this because there was a dude that had like meth problems, and he was being deposed, and I'm sure your wife can speak to this in some ways, like why you ask the questions that you do. But he was just trying. He asked like 19 questions in a row that were slight variations of like, are you on meth now? It's like, no. Were you on meth in the past month? No. In the past 2 months? In the past...
Yeah, they're just trying to tack down the timeline.
Right.
Yeah.
And there comes a point, and I'm like, I'm looking at this, and this guy is just like, do you want me to walk the fuck out of here? It's like, I've answered every question about meth I'm going to answer. So this is...
Yeah.
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 And listening to that dude fucking lose his shit, I was like, this is great.
Yeah, you're obviously on meth. Yeah.
Like, oh man, this is rough. But yeah, that's where I do my weird Googling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Understanding is that meth is basically done now. So
What's the replacement?
fentanyl and something called trank now.
Trank is weird.
Yeah.
Oh my
Okay.
god.
It's fentanyl and
It's
horse
scary.
tranquilizers. So you do that so it's actually more potent. So
Damn.
I know, man.
You can look up the videos in Philadelphia of like the zombie people. It's terrifying.
Yeah. I seen some of those in San Francisco. I saw this chick basically bathing naked the other day in a fucking
But
puddle.
it's like this.
Yeah,
But they're
she's
standing,
she's
yeah.
completely cooked.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's
Wow.
terrifying.
Yeah.
Oh. I guess I'm not surprised, but people aren't dropping dead from that?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, what was the thing you were talking about the other day where the drug problem would resolve itself if not for Narcan? Where
Narcan?
yeah, because the
The antidote. For those that are overdosing.
Was I talking about that?
I don't know. Unless it was a show that I wasn't here.
well
Might
yeah,
have been a
because
while
this was part of the problem was that people aren't dying from drugs.
Oh yeah, that was a bit ago, but yeah,
Yeah.
that came from So I read Michael Schellenberger's books, and that was San Francisco, where he was talking about that
Uh-huh.
and how the Narcan thing, specifically. So you call 911 or someone else calls 911, they instantaneously give that to you, and so you live.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
you know, and then your desire to use again so bad after like 3 or 4 days when you spend in the hospital because they have to observe you for a couple days. You immediately go back out and use again. So yeah, that was part of the problem. It's not that they should just let you die.
That's kind of what
So,
I was like,
that's
this is your solution? Just
it.
weed out the extreme drugging. This sounds like your theory, not Pat's theory.
No. Let me clarify on this because evidently I'm already getting a bad rap about machine guns at the border. So I don't want this.
Well earned.
Look, I'm saying that you don't have to machine gun people for long. I think this sort of
Just
solves
arrest
itself.
them. Thank you. Just arrest them. It's fine. We don't need to machine gun people. I don't want to live in that country.
Yeah, he's not the first with this theory.
Yeah, I know.
The rigs were full of
I'm sure they were, man.
people willing to volunteer for that.
Absolutely,
saying,
because they just want to shoot people and get away with it. I get it. So they're probably all libertarians too, aren't they? So
They're
like
definitely
this is the closest thing that I'm going to get to zombies. So
and get a paycheck. Yeah,
and get a paycheck, or I'll bring my own ammo. Whatever. So I
don't even
reload
have
on
to
the
pay me.
weekends.
Right, right. I'll thank you.
Yeah.
It's
As long as I can keep the brass.
It's like going on safari.
Yeah.
I'll pay you for a 2-week tour. That's where I go on vacation every year. Yeah.
Do you at least get docked if you hit a woman or a child?
I argue that you have to be indiscriminate. It's the only way to discourage. And you have to. I mean, that's the thing. You cannot recover the corpses. You have to leave them where they stand.
This is like Mordor, man. So
Somebody's property.
What do you mean?
Doesn't somebody own the land?
somebody does own the land.
You're just gonna be like, yeah, you have to leave the dead bodies on your land, or do you shoot them in Mexico?
No, as I said, you move the border back about 200 yards, right? So that everything that's happening here is on sovereign U.S. soil. You cross this area, you are now.
But that's somebody's land.
Yeah,
Somebody owns that ranch.
yeah.
And you're like, yeah, that thing's
We're
got
going to eminent domain this to create killing fields. So, yeah.
Oh, I can't
Later
wait
on,
to
what do you want to do? Polish the skulls and line
I
them
can't
up,
wait to
you know?
see that bill in Congress.
No, you just. I mean, that's the thing. You want the buzzards and you want all the shit out there, like fucking like.
Not on my land.
I don't want that on my land. I don't want that on my country.
Again, you don't have to do it for long. It's like one summer, and this would resolve it. So it's like ripping off a Band-Aid, guys.
Well, at least you'd have to make it random spots. Like they'd go to a different spot every night, so you wouldn't know which part of the
Well,
border
see,
to cross.
here's the way this works. Is all right. So, you have like the night vision drones like coming over there, right? And what you do is like when you see people headed to that area, that's where you direct your agents to go ahead and get into firing position. Or you just drop the grenade straight from the drone.
Yeah, you're just like Ukraine, huh? It's a Russian tank.
Yeah, I think that'll go well in the worldwide media.
That's their problem.
Yeah, you're part of the world.
Yes, and we
Jeff
have to,
obviously doesn't care about this. Yeah, it's pretty clear.
and we have an obligation to keep our part of the world safe. Follow procedures. All I'm asking is, unless you want to get grenaded,
If
follow
we
procedures.
saw another country doing that,
We do nothing.
Well, North Korea does that. We just wall them off with lane mines.
We do nothing.
Yeah. In fact, that's a good example. You know, that's a country that we could go over there and learn something or two about maintaining border control.
How many people are sneaking into Poland right now? None. They are
shooting
policing that.
people,
They have military equipment out there, yes.
and they just shoot upon
They
sight.
shoot people.
I think the equipment is enough to deter most people, but yeah, they've been very clear about no, these are our borders, and this is not going to happen.
So we're gonna do the World War II thing where we paint up a bunch of tanks and just kind of stick them out there.
We
We'll
get those
just-
balloon things.
Yeah, fucking
At night they look really real.
Really real. Yeah.
no, but ours are guys. Yes. I'm sorry. Look. This is not the world's failing. It's our own failing. It's our own failing to actually enforce our own policies.
I agree.
I don't even
with
know
that.
what our policies are.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, what are they?
Stay out.
No. What is the actual
Get out.
policy? What's our policy on that? I don't even
For
fucking
if you
know.
catch somebody illegally crossing.
Yeah,
or,
what happens to them?
It used to be they got sent back, but now I don't think they do. They get sent to
The internment
yeah,
centers.
and then they're supposed to get processed. Then they're supposed to go to court in like 3 weeks. But if they don't show up, then nobody does anything.
Yeah, but we do send them back.
If they go to court and are found,
Or if we catch them later, it's like,
Oh.
hey, you didn't show up
Okay,
to court.
yeah.
Right? We send
Yeah.
those guys back. don't
yeah, I think so.
we? Yeah.
But I mean, that's
See, I like my solution better. E-Verify. Everybody has to be on the payroll. Has to be everybody.
everybody that crosses the border.
No,
every human
everybody
being.
who works in the United States needs to have their payroll verified.
Oh, okay.
Yes. No more paying people under the table. That would solve the problem a lot faster and a lot cheaper than a murder wall.
Well, that is to say that the people that are coming are expecting to be on a payroll. A
Why
lot of
else
the ones
would you
that-
come here?
But think how much crap was given just because we wanted people to be registered to vote.
I know, man.
You're gonna do this about having a job?
Yeah, well, and you don't hold the people responsible unless they get busted. You hold your employers responsible and say, why the fuck are you employing a guy who's not documented? So,
Well, that's I agree with you completely there. Right? I'm not saying that you have to do one or the other.
I'm saying that, I think mine involves a little bit less bloodshed. We could try mine
Significantly
first. If it doesn't work, I'll concede it to you.
Well, no,
That's giving it away too easy.
because for me, yes, the other component is, of course, the people that are being on an official payroll was never part of the plan in the first place.
Well, yeah, then they would stop coming. So, yeah. Or at least that would be the hope. You know what I mean? But, yeah, so, you got all these California farmers out there who hire nothing but migrant workers every single year. They're the fucking problem. So, because they say, hey, I can make twice as much in one summer in America as I could in the next 3 years in Venezuela.
Yeah.
So off I go. And then it's like, yeah, you know what's great about this? I don't have to pay payroll taxes on you. I don't have to fill out any fucking paperwork on you.
Yep.
I'm just going to give you a $20 bill and we're going to call it good for a day.
Yep.
So that's the fucking problem right there. Just people like that trying to skirt the system. So
I agree.
Yeah.
I'm not fighting you on that.
I wonder if that recorded. It was a fortuitous
You
pause.
guys could have kept talking.
He thought you were going to sneak that in right across the border, huh?
Nobody was there to shoot it.
Now, obviously, of course, my theory on this is a little bit of a hyperbole. Right?
Obviously. I'm giving you credit for that. So, yeah.
No, but I mean, I guess this does come from a point of I would like to see more proactive things being done. I would like to, I would like there to be some kind of clear statement that yes, we do actually respect our borders.
Yeah, no, I agree.
That's and the exact manifestation of that I can't say for sure. Part of it is Wall might do something, as far as yes, please understand that we do have a process here. We want you to follow that process, and generally speaking, I think our official routes towards citizens are fairly generous, and
You can have your kid here, and boom, you're a citizen.
yeah,
That's great.
yeah.
I dare you to find another first world country where you can do that. So I don't think they exist.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Both parents?
Huh?
Both parents?
Maybe if both parents. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
I know it's a lot harder to
get.
get naturalized in most countries than it is here. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And I actually I like a lot of that, but it's just, the remainder of this, it's kind of like, I don't know, it's sort of tough. There's just a point where I feel like, we're being taken advantage of, and I don't like that. I don't like that.
yeah.
That dangerous. I never like the stories where I hear, like, oh well, yeah, you got in a car wreck with somebody who's an illegal citizen, you're out of luck.
Yeah,
Like, it's
yeah,
like, no, that shouldn't be happening. That shouldn't be,
yeah.
and a lot of what you're saying is absolutely true. Like, so, why are they coming? Who's paying them? Otherwise, if there's no money, you leave.
The
Right?
only time that immigration has not occurred in the United States was during the Great Depression. So,
And yeah, we don't want to fuck it up that bad.
no,
We
we don't want to fuck it up that bad.
No.
So, but
No.
still, at the same point in time, like, there's a lot of things. I think, quite honestly, if you get someone who shows up at the border and can speak English, hey, man, go sign up, do 4 years in the Army, and we'll make you a citizen.
Absolutely.
Have
yeah,
at it,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
so-
There's. I feel like there's meaningful things, and again, as I've talked about, like, here, we're not having babies, and get the other people from somewhere.
Absolutely, yeah.
Nobody wants to come here. Yeah, keep that going. It's funny that you mentioned the Great Depression. This did come up earlier. This was specifically regarding like Asian cultures, right? Because the friend of mine, she's the one from Russia, right? She was asking about. I was telling her about some of the bizarre Korean superstitions that she's like, this is a thing. I'm like, I shit you not. I was telling her about the no facing north thing. She's like, what's the consequence? Do you like die on the spot? It's like, no, but you die faster than you should.
You're walking the line of death.
You're
Yes.
walking the line if you face north.
If you sleep.
Oh,
with
if
your
you
head.
sleep with your head. Okay, I've heard that one. Yeah,
I was telling
Oh,
her
the fan thing.
yeah. It'll suffocate you.
Yeah, she was like, how do they know? I was like, anybody, do it, live to tell the tale, and come out the next day and say, like,
It's a logical fallacy.
Right.
It's so beautiful.
did anybody survive?
Right, yeah.
How do you know the story's
I
true
have
then?
evidence.
I told her about the exhuming the bodies, moving them to nicer places.
I don't know that one, but
Well,
I can guess. Yeah.
Well, so yeah, the way I explained it was like, so if you have a shitty run of luck, right? It would not be, and Mom told me all about this, it would not be abnormal to have your ancestors removed from where they're buried and moved to a nicer place, right?
If you're bad luck?
If you're having a string of bad
Oh, so
luck.
your ancestors are pissed at you, so
Yes.
got it. All right.
And the ancestors are always with you, and you have very strict rules about, like, because the body is supposed to stay in the house for a few days before you bury them and things like this. And, it eventually it led to, like, so what is up with the hyper competitive, childhood thing and all this other stuff? And I'd like you to surmise, what are your thoughts about this?
Why? Because
Why is it like that in the Asian world?
that's how it was done.
A fair
Yeah.
It
argument.
was like that when I got here.
Yeah. Happiness is not valued. Really is.
Ouch!
It's a sign of weakness. Yeah.
And doing something for just the joy of it, it does not seem to be a pressing concern.
That's what rich people do. You know?
Well, so how does it get to that?
Probably because you have poor people, and the only way to get out of it is to rise to the top with your brain, and so that's your only, like in black neighborhoods. Your theory, your only way to getting out is being a great athlete back in the day.
Okay.
So you're going to harp on doing that. Yes,
But through education and
Right.
stuff like that? Okay.
I think it's Confucian though. It goes back to the civil service exam. It's been around thousands of years. It was the way that as a peasant you got into, like, you got to be next to power. You would never become power because that was ordained by God or whatever. So, but it's the closest you could get.
This definitely, I mean, yeah, I mean, this is the weird thing is a lot of that also comes from like, what times do you come from?
Sure. Yeah.
Right. So, and this is what I was, trying to explain a little bit here is like, well, take Korea, for example. She's like, what about it? Like, all right, so you have this island over here, right? And you have this big mainland over here, right? And they're actually like fighting for territory for a long time, right? So much to the point where there's big chunks of, China that belong to, Japan and other things like that. It's like, and you have this peninsula in the middle of it, right? Which is the quickest, easiest way to, come on through. It's like, keep in mind that Japan annexed Korea up until, the end of World War II, right? So that was their property, and so it was like,
And Taiwan.
yeah,
And Taiwan.
yeah, yeah. And you're like, so if you take these people as like, if you put them in a shitty position, and you're like, all right, same thing like here with the Depression. It's like, what are the lessons that people learned when their money evaporated, right? It's like, well, you don't. I was like, you learn not to trust people. I'm like, yeah. You learn, you do get really competitive because there's not enough to go around, right? You put money in your mattress, right? And what's funny is she's laughing is like, what? She's like, well, this is like what Russia's been like
Yeah.
since the revolution.
Since the start. Yeah.
And she's like, that's what the culture is like now. And always has been.
That's life.
Yeah, she's like, there's no trust, right? No trust. The people that want to get ahead, right, are exceptionally competitive, will do anything, right? This is where they joke about, like, all right, if you're going to piss off the Italian mafia or the Russian mafia, do the Italian mafia because the Russians will cut your dick off, right? And it's a level of cruelty, like, this is how you do business, right?
I'd get fleeced.
Yeah.
trust
I would
everybody.
Yeah,
move.
I know. Exactly, yeah.
I just put out my wall and just be like, here, take it.
Right.
It's gonna happen before one of these times, so
Yeah.
I could, yeah. We would not be the same people. We're not the same. Like, it does something to you. It does something to your culture.
yeah, I can believe it. If that's the only way you can survive, yeah.
But that's the thing is, those are old. All of those cultures, Japan, China, Korea, don't have to survive that way anymore.
Well,
That
it's
period
still
of their
that way in
history is-
South Korea.
It's worse.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's worse.
It's worse. Like, again, I think I've told you this. In South Korea, you submit your photo with your resume.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Right? They don't even want to hire ugly people. This is like,
Well, that speaks to a society that, is abundance is just a facade. So, it's, I mean, well, we talked about that before. It's the same thing, like with all my German students. They're like, well, I'd much rather live in America because I can do whatever I want here.
yeah.
Over there, I have to wait 10 years to get a promotion. So, because that's Hans's job. And Hans has to die before I can get Hans's job.
And it's so hard for me to kill Hans.
Well, in
People
Germany, you
rarely
don't
get
do
away
that.
with it,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So the polizei, they will boot you until you confess.
Like, they'll knock your teeth out one at a time.
Right, yeah, exactly. So, where's Japan? You just have to profusely apologize for killing Takashi.
All right, so hold on one second. All right, so I watched a little thing about Japanese prison.
Mm-hmm.
I was
I saw a clip on that.
That place is a horror
It's
show.
terrifying, yeah.
Holy
I saw it.
shit.
It's run by gangs, yeah.
They don't let you sleep for like 10 years, and they just like they'll interrogate you every single day.
Oh, that's not the one that I saw.
Holy shit. This place was
Yeah. I don't imagine that many people were in prison in Japan, though. So,
no.
yeah.
Not really.
No.
But yeah, that was one of the things where she talked because her husband lived there for a little bit, and
In Japan?
yeah,
Oh.
yeah. He was there for school for a little bit, and it's sort of like there's just like this weird social contract where it's like, don't fuck with tourists,
Yeah.
right?
Uh-huh.
Like, and it's just like, well, that doesn't surprise me. She's like, why? I was like, well, go to any one of these nations where it's family name first. Like, if you fuck with a tourist, right?
Unless it's China.
China's
different, man.
China's-
Yeah, this is like
China is like fucking like slipping Jimmy the country.
Right, yeah,
Yeah,
it kind of is.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you're just waiting for like an escalator to break down
Yeah.
so that you can sue.
Yeah, but it's like Japan, they have this thing against rude.
Yeah.
So do not be rude, and definitely don't be rude to guests. So Germany's kind of the same way. It really is.
I
So,
don't care.
oh no, the guests are marks.
At-
You know,
At all costs, man.
Yeah.
It's yeah. Again, what are those chicks called? The like if you put out like free samples of Bounty, it's
grab hags.
yeah.
Yeah,
I keep forgetting that phrase. It's just,
it's great. There was a thing going around on Twitter today about people grab hagging fucking Halloween candy. So you put your Halloween candy out there. And oh man, I feel good about America because the amount of shame these people are getting was amazing. I mean, people were trying to do it as a political point about not letting migrants into the country, but then if you just look
come on,
at
man.
no, but it was one of those things like it's like look at the amount of like.
Dude,
I mean, this was like shooting somebody's cat. Okay, you do not do this in this fucking country. You know? So-
the most heartwarming video that I saw was some dude's bull got robbed. So
Oh.
this kid saw it, right?
Oh,
And he's like, well, these guys got see, he put his own
Oh, yeah.
candy.
Oh.
see, yeah.
I was
See, that's
like,
good
dude,
stuff, man.
that's America. That's,
Yeah,
But now everybody finds that kid and gives them like mountains of stuff.
I know. Yeah, you don't really do that just to, you know. I mean, try and, you know, like I'll make a mint if I actually put a little candy in this empty bowl.
Yeah,
you know, it's more
yeah.
like, well, that's fucked up because there's kids behind me and they'll get none. So you know,
exactly, yeah. That warmed my heart because there was, of course, there's that one video of like the mother and all the kids raiding the shit. That's probably one of the ones that you saw.
I saw a couple different ones.
Yeah, I'm like, man.
Yeah, I did see one with the mother. So
And she's telling him to do it, and
I didn't play the
Oh,
video.
Lord.
I don't usually don't play
it's
the
too
audio.
much. Yeah, it's
You get ambushed by shit on Twitter too, man. So,
All the time.
Yeah, I can't.
it
so
does stuff to you.
I am very careful about what I click on. You know, especially if it's going to lead to some kind of war footage. So
Okay, you gotta know. Yeah.
yeah, so I'm very careful about playing the audio on anything because you never know what's on there. So
Listen, I also I understand. Part of my feed is yes, I am subscribed to the feeds that are like robbers getting theirs.
those are fun. Yeah.
So every now and then you'll see a dude get fucked up for.
Yeah, and there's videos that should be blocked on there or something. And it's like, actually, that guy just died. So cool.
Oh, clearly.
Yeah.
Well, at least they should just have like the
The
little
robber got
sensitive.
killed.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of those. It's like that was a 12 gauge to the face. That dude's done. So
Oh,
same thing. It's like, wow, the cop pushed the gun against his chest and pulled the trigger. That guy's done. So
What was that one?
I saw this one where a guy got pulled over, and he started arguing with the cop over some bullshit, and then tried to grab his gun, and the cop just waxed him, man. So yeah.
Oh, that
Yeah, I
was,
mean, it's
yeah.
fine, but it's like, usually I'd have to go to Telegram to find that, but here it is right here on Twitter. So,
Telegram?
oh, Telegram's a shit show.
It's-
Really?
So it's where some of my Ukraine guys hang out, though, man. So if
Dead
you want to know
bodies
what's going
everywhere.
on in the war, you go to Telegram. So
Wow.
Telegram is the last thing that I can really call the Wild West.
it's definitely the Wild West.
So there's absolute truth out there, and there is unmitigated bullshit. But
It's
it
a
is
90% bullshit. But the truth you get is concentrated truth. Okay?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is 90% bots and bullshit. And bullshit bots that are designed to get traction on Twitter, on Telegram, so that some dummy, follow it or like repost that shit either on Twitter or Instagram.
Right.
That's exactly what they're trying to
It
do.
is a fake news farm. Yeah.
But it's like the greenhouse of fake news.
Yeah. There are some cultivators there, but it is also not Discord, which is
It's not Discord.
90% grown men talking to young children, and
Discord's bad, man.
I hate that
I,
place.
I get on there very sparingly now, just to check up, and mostly for video game stuff. But even there, you go to the the off-topic forums and stuff. It's like, I'm out of here, man. This place got creepy fast. So,
Well, I mean, this is the thing about it is, it is also these little closed communities where small time people have become like little, like little kingdoms, little like
that's
worship centers.
They're all
of-
thieves. Yeah.
Yeah,
Worship center. Yeah,
my
they are
boy
cults.
is the
Yeah.
leader of his
His Discord. Yeah.
through
See,
all of his cronies and
and then he
jumped in.
goes and joins theirs too and stuff.
Yeah.
So
His mom tried to join a couple of times and he just kept booting her.
I was like, delete that shit now. So yeah.
It would say she joined the party, wave high, and then it would just be like, has been kicked out of the. I was like,
Well, okay, now here's the thing is that's not something that I worry about in that regard, but like it's the same thing I used to say about like Twitch or like places that are like, so if you have like a small YouTube channel, but you're like a girl, right? This is where like in the Discord is where they treat you like you're royalty.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Or Twitch.
And the saddest of sad guys are gonna come in there and
They're the worst.
and they're gonna like so you need a new laptop? Oh, no problem. Okay,
Yeah.
well, and you have this den of like it's just the saddest shit because
See, the sad, it's creepy, man. So,
yeah.
I mean, yeah, I've seen that unfold on a couple Twitch channels over the years.
Have you?
So yeah, where it was like, ooh, this place got dark fast. So and it's like, yeah, there's a lot of people in here that, yeah. I mean, you could just watch the feed on it and be like, oh, there's one right there. There's another one. It's just, yeah, they'll cast their line in any pond they come across just in case. And so, yeah, I've told my daughters, like, you cannot have a Twitch channel. So,
don't do it.
no way.
Don't.
So,
Don't.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're not even supposed to if you're under 18 on Twitch, but it happens.
oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
It ain't hard to.
No. Well, it ain't hard
Yeah,
to fool YouTube either, man. So, yeah.
I don't even know what the rules are. Just like I thought YouTube, like if you're over 13, you can have a
You should
channel.
have parental consent.
Yeah.
So.
Well, William's been 13 for 4 years.
And that's exactly, it's just like the Steam page. It's like, how old are you? I'm 14.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, on Steam, I'm as old as the first date that shows up. So, like, I
Correct.
was born in 1900. I don't know.
Yeah.
January 1st, 1900, or whatever it says. Yeah.
I'm a 120-year-old gamer.
Yeah, that's it's if those people in there too, when they hang out, eventually one of those simps gets like turned into a mod. And
Yep.
I've said this before, like some people, if you give them the tiniest amount of juice, they turn into tyrants immediately.
Well, and those guys in particular, because then they get defensive and protective,
Yes.
because I mean it's just the same thing like on the job. On the job, you don't meet racists because they're not looking for victims; they're looking for allies.
Recruits.
Yeah, but if you're looking for sex pests, they don't look for They don't look for allies. They look for recruits. And so, at that point in time, it's like everybody becomes your enemy if you're a sex pest on something, one of those things, because everybody's trying to get to your girl. No. So
And she don't give a fuck about you. She don't.
or she don't know what you're up to, man. So she just sees it as like, hey, this guy's great. He he helps me out and stuff. That's like, yeah, well, maybe we should get together or something.
But that's my question. I would ask you, like, do girls know? Do girls
Depends on
know?
how. In general, no. In general, no. So, especially if they're young. So, if they're a little
Well-
bit older, then sure.
What do you think?
Probably not. Until you get bit by something, you
Yeah,
don't.
you
You assume the best.
Do you?
Yeah.
Until you
Like-
get bit by some. But see, that's the problem is that even we've all met girls who are like 22 and they've been bit 10 times already. And
That's
so
the
they're
que-
extremely cautious.
So that's, I mean,
So
you guys are the ones with daughters. Like, how do you?
my daughter is so fucking naive, it's hilarious. So
I'm sure once she gets a teenager, she's
Yeah.
gonna.
Like, do you talk about it? Do you?
no.
I will. But
How do you,
I
how do you
have.
broach it? I'm like, I can't even think about
Oh,
it.
it'd be easy. You just be like, hey, I know you're gonna get on the sites and stuff and things like that, so watch out for this and this and this. And if you see
Oh.
something that makes you feel weird,
I
let us
thought you were
know.
talking about boys. So,
Oh.
Well, that's part of it too.
I
yeah.
haven't talked to her
Oh,
about that
yeah.
yet.
Oh, the
So
boy thing.
no. So
Well, my boys talk about the girl stuff all the time.
your boy does?
Oh, I have they sleep over all the time.
Oh, see,
They're
that makes more
talking all
sense.
sorts of.
Yeah. Well, they're getting right about that age where you're close.
Well, one of
Yeah.
them's been dating for a couple years.
That's weird. He's 12.
He's just turned 13, but yeah. He's
Okay,
been
so
dating
that's yeah.
since
Well,
like fifth
yeah, they
grade.
have like boyfriends.
Yeah,
It's not
yeah.
quite, but yeah, it's like oh well, it's almost like role playing. So yeah.
It's almost to the part where it's cute until it's not.
Well, and that's
Yeah.
that's where like so I pick up my daughter and she's at that point in time where her school is divided into little boys and young women. So, it's
Yeah.
pretty patently apparent that, okay, this is going to change in the next 2 years, but there's a danger zone right now where the boys are just dumb and they don't, and like half of them don't even
Yeah.
like boobs yet.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
But in 2 years they'll all like boobs, and so that's when it gets a little like okay,
Yeah,
we need to
they'll-
talk about this.
They'll have like an
So-
almost like werewolf like transformation.
Well, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it's a South Park episode with the Bobos. Man.
Yeah.
That was the
Right.
best. Yeah, just like yes, son, ugly. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's it's weird because you'll see these people that like. It's weird when they're mixed in when you still see some of the like children with the people who have like fully they've entered the like the chrysalis is broken. It's like, whoa, okay, you're a young man now, right?
Yeah.
And you see them next to like the ones that haven't gone through it, and it's like, you look like you're 6.
Oh yeah. there's
That
a
one
ton of
looks like
those.
he's 18.
Yeah. That guy looks like he shaves. Yeah. Yeah.
Or he should.
Or he
'cause
should. I mean, he needs
You
to
got
start
the
because
you got
it's
the
powerful.
dudes with the 19 hairs across their face and the little shitty mustache.
Right. The little Dr.
Yeah.
Nick going on.
Yeah.
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 Well, some of them are starting to do the stink stage. Like,
That.
Oh.
William gets 6 of them in his room, and then you open the door, and she's like, "How are you guys staying
so
in here?"
thick.
Oh,
See, that's one thing you gotta
God.
call that out as soon as you detect it, because that's a boy whose dad isn't doing that for him. And so I've had that conversation,
okay.
even when I was teaching. Sometimes it was just like, bro, you need,
you gotta put stuff on.
it's like, you got to put stuff. What do you mean? I was like deodorant tonight, and so you got to start using it because I can smell you. from
Or
over
it's
there.
their feet, because we don't make them wear shoes in the house.
That's pretty awful too.
And so
Yeah.
that
It's
blends.
like you need to change your socks at least once a day. So,
Do you just like throw it out there matter of fact, just like, all right, whose feet stink?
Yeah.
Oh, William's already called them out on it.
Oh,
They-
okay.
they just like roll with it. Like it's just part of life. Like they're not ashamed of it. It's like a badge of honor.
See, that's a bad.
now.
That's
It's a bad dad.
That's one that leads to dangerous places where you become a troll on Discord. Yeah.
All it's gonna take is to be around one girl that says you stink.
And then it all changes.
But a lot of girls don't do that, man. So
No, they just won't pay attention to you.
well, yeah,
They'll
that's
avoid
true.
you. And that's
smart.
well,
Yeah. Huh?
you'll get the hint eventually if they
when people scatter every
Yeah.
time you
But see, I don't like that. I don't like that like, indirect approach anymore, man. It just doesn't. I mean, it. Like,
No,
with my
they've
daughter, it's
been
very
made
straightforward.
aware.
It's like you need to brush your hair. So it looks like you've been sleeping, for the last 4.5 hours on your face, and you
Olivia
can't go
hates
to school
doing
like
that, too.
Yeah,
What, brushing her hair?
brushing her hair.
brushing your hair.
Does she like having it done?
No,
No.
yeah.
Oh, she
Well,
doesn't-
and I'm terrible at it. I like yank her head like
Oh,
all
you know,
over the
that's
way.
there.
Yeah.
how our moms
There's a
do it.
spritz that you use.
Oh, I do
Yeah,
that
okay.
too, and all
Yeah.
that stuff. But
So-
yeah, like I try and just hold her head in place, and I'm like, Oh, there's the sound of them coming apart. That's good.
Yeah, but it's like,
Yeah, I thought he's like followed by that.
Like, honey, my only experience with this is de-shedding a dog.
Yeah, and this is
Yeah.
what you do. They don't
Yeah.
complain.
Exactly. Yeah.
Or when you're done with the shower, take care of yourself because it's
Just
really
run it through.
easy for you
Yeah.
right then and there.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you shower and sleep on it, oh my god.
Dude, okay, so do your girls, do they hang out with other girly girls or okay, that are into like hair maintenance and all that shit or no?
yeah, a little bit. So it depends. My
Okay.
daughter's actually got a pretty amazing circle of friends. So
Okay.
they kind of run the gamut.
And that hasn't rubbed off on her to like, man, get the knots out of this. What are you doing?
Probably not yet, just because, like, I don't know. She's still in that kid phase.
She's not
Yeah.
chasing boys yet.
She's not chasing boys yet. Yeah, we'll put it that way.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough.
Everything changes once that's the motivating
Look, it
factor.
happens to guys too.
You know,
Like,
so yeah, you can tell them all you want, why, and all this kind of stuff, but until that carrot's in front of their face for the right reason.
Mm-hmm.
there are a few things that'll make a guy stop wearing like poser pants and fanny packs and shit. It's just like,
Oh, that was a low blow.
come on, man. Like if you hear,
I didn't stop wearing it because of a girl. I don't really remember why I stopped wearing it, but
I think it's because it disintegrated.
it might have.
It actually just it retired itself.
And then they didn't really like they had quit selling it in the world.
No, because all the other ones were like that shitty burlap plastic thing.
Yeah.
Which, okay, if you were going to do that in order to make it comfortable, you were going to have to,
Wash it 100 times.
if not that, basically you'd have to drag it behind your car.
Right.
or take an electric sander to it. Yeah, dude. So yeah, eventually there are things where it's like, would you stop wearing that? Would you stop? You stink.
You're going to start changing some of the
You'll
things,
change your
yeah.
patterns.
Yeah. So overnight you might go shopping. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah, I wait. Yeah, that's why I don't really push any of this stuff. Like some of the
It'll
things,
happen.
yeah, you gotta do, but it's like you're going to want to eventually. You might as well get the habit now.
Yeah.
No,
That's what I told my
so
daughter.
be it.
And
There's just like a few little rules, so she's all rigged up in braces right now. So it's like, no, brush your
Ooh.
teeth now. So yeah,
oh yeah.
go, yeah, So we're not buying you a second set of those. So but then there's other things like, yeah, she'll wear clothes that are just kind of like, okay, whatever, you do you, kid.
Right.
Fine. So.
Right.
But then, yeah, there's other times it's like you need to wear socks with those. You need to do that.
Why would she not be wearing socks in the first place?
I don't know.
Well, the weird thing is kids like to wear mismatched socks now.
Oh yeah, I've
Oh my
noticed that. a couple
God.
times.
Oh yeah.
My daughter keeps trying
It
to
is
tell me I'm
huge.
OCD. I'm like, no, you don't. I've seen you load the dishwasher. So that's lies. So I've looked at your room. There is nothing about your room that's organized. So
Oh well, yeah, because especially if you know the terms. Like, wait. So let me get this straight. If you don't flip the light switch on and off 30 times before you leave a room, you think you'll die.
right.
So you're not OCD. You're wearing mismatched socks on purpose. It's okay.
That's exactly
And that's fine.
Yeah. So, or yeah, I'll get the same thing. It's like, no, you're telling me that because you don't want to do the work. I understand this. So, but just cough it up. All right. So,
Well,
just say that. Yeah.
Livy literally took a container that has like all the beads. You can make like friendship bracelets.
Yeah,
out of it.
Yeah. It's okay.
It has 2,400 beads in it. She dumped them all out into a bowl so that she could separate them back into the colors.
That might be OCD.
She got a little bit
yeah.
in there.
Well, okay. So I all right. Where would you put this in terms of like, so like, I know you enjoyed organizing football cards
Yes.
and things like that. Would you consider that under that same category?
To a little bit. I would not take them all down just so I could redo it.
Well, how did they get fucked up in the first place?
You buy them.
Oh, but yeah.
Okay, well, so if they
Yeah.
came fucked up, sort of like when you buy football cards, they're all
Then you got to
random.
put them.
You got to put them in
Yeah.
order, right? But she's not purposely fucking them up.
She did. 2,400 beads. They were all organized, and she dumped them all into a
Oh,
bowl.
I didn't know that they were.
Yeah, they were all
organized in the
separated by
oh,
color, and
Yeah, that's
she
something
dumped
different.
them in.
Never mind.
And then,
She might just be bored too.
well, she also sees the dock and stuff, and she said the dock told us that she was counting the holes in the ceiling because it's the tiles with, like, the black dots in there.
Yeah.
I was like, huh.
Maybe a little.
Interesting.
Maybe a little,
She
but
got some,
I
but
don't know, man. I've seen enough students over the years. You can tell the ones that are where it becomes almost manic.
Oh, yeah,
then
yeah,
it's a
I
problem.
definitely
Yeah,
I think
but
she's
like
that far.
I've gotten so sensitive to people. Oh, I got ADHD. It's like welcome to the club, bro. So
We all do.
you got to do your work anyway.
Right.
I like to play video games too. I totally understand.
This is.
Yeah, but
I hate that discussion where it's like, well, no. See, you're like every other human that wants to be doing something other than what you're doing right now.
I've got to the point in time I just call people out on that now. It's like that's great, man. There's no tests in this class, so you just have to do the same work like everybody else. So it might take you a little longer and stuff, but let me know if you need help.
Well, it's yeah, it's like well, that's there's a lot of different management techniques for that. So find the one
Exactly.
that's suitable for you.
Yep, find what works for you and keep me posted.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
but I mean, I've had so many people over the years try and weasel out of work that I have heard just about everything.
It's
The
pathetic.
only things that work
It's
is like
pathetic.
I got deployed. It's like, okay,
Oh.
all right.
That's
And so
legit.
Thanks for your service, son.
Yeah, I know. I've
know
had
where it's
students like, well, I got my mom and blah, 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 and stuff like this. Like, I totally understand, man. I mean, I've had to do all that stuff. I mean, after my dad died, taking care of my mom was, and so I'll tell a story that's worse than theirs. 99 times out of 100, that actually works, and they just back down. So, or the same thing I've had. Yeah. So I did a withdrawal an incomplete for a student a few years ago, because he was in the field and didn't have internet access for 8 months. And so that's the one guy that I've given an incomplete to.
All right, that's the bar, huh?
Exactly. Yeah. So
That's not happening
And
with
he
me.
came
so-
back next summer and did all his work in 3 weeks. So
See, he was never going to be a problem in the first place. I mean,
exactly,
yeah.
but he makes a great story, and the
Yeah.
fact that it's true is so much better. So
Yeah.
and so it's just like, I mean, and I've seen my daughter try and do that, with her math, and it's like, no, you just don't like to do it. And the reason you don't like to do it is because you don't do it that often, and so it's frustrating. And so if you just did a little bit more every single day, then you wouldn't get jammed up on this, and you feel just shut up, Dad. I was like, yeah, okay, go do your homework. So,
I've watched you focus more than
Right.
any other human being on the planet. So
Yeah.
I seen you play
yeah,
Minecraft.
and you're in your own planet, and it don't
Yeah.
matter if anything else is going on around you. So
Mm-hmm.
I know you can focus.
The best thing the schools do now is they actually give you the CSAT scores or whatever. So yeah, the initial ones that they do like the previous year.
Oh,
And so I don't get this. It's like, well, this test says that you have the bandwidth capable of doing anything like this. And so if you're going to be proud of these test scores, which you were when you showed them to me, you can't use that excuse at this point in time that you just don't, you just can't do it.
and if
So-
you had a kid that you knew couldn't do it, you could tell, right?
Uh-huh.
You can see with those kids. I've seen those kids where
Yes.
you're like, you're a good person.
Well,
They're still like, when they say I don't get it,
They don't.
They mean it,
They
yeah.
don't.
Yeah,
And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go. I'm gonna work with you, kid. I'm gonna take a while, right? And we will. If there's a hurdle here, I will try whatever end around to make this make sense.
Mhm.
Because you're like, you have such a good heart. You want to get it,
Yep.
but you don't. And then there's the other side of it, like, you didn't try. You don't
Yep.
care. You don't stop trying to act like you care because you don't. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't want to be mean or anything, but just don't lie to me. Just
I don't care if you fail, if you
No.
tried.
If
But
you try,
you
yes.
failed because you were playing 9 straight hours of video games and didn't decide to do it, then no, you're getting,
Or
you're
you
getting
just-
chewed out.
Or you just can't get through that barrier of like, if I just knock this out now, right? If I just put in
Try
the
that.
effort, right? I know, then it won't be a problem, right? I get it. You don't want to, because it sucks.
Sucks.
It's like, but then you have to explain. It's like, but that's the entirety of life.
Yeah.
Is I'm gonna rob you from like that warm place that you are in the morning, right? I'm gonna make you go here for 9 hours. Okay, get that shitty half-hour lunch and 2 15-minute breaks, and you don't even smoke. So I don't know what you people do on breaks, right? Come back and then come home. You have to be there.
William even just did. He was like, I know it's coming to an end. I was like, what? He's like, well, I've seen it. I'm gonna have to actually do the adult kind of stuff coming up. So I really appreciate the kid time. I was like, so you don't want to be an adult yet? He's like, no, I got things pretty good right now.
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying it. I was like, wow,
Sounds like he's
dude.
gonna make an awesome adult. If he can understand that, he's probably gonna make a great adult. And you know what? Being an adult doesn't mean that you have to shed every last bit of being a kid.
No,
You don't. You still get to eat Oreos if you want, just less.
I watch plenty of cartoons and
Yes.
Play a shitload.
I mean, the type of games you play tends to
probably gonna
change.
Yeah.
Mine has changed. Yeah.
So yeah, I was just blown away. He like said that. I was like, whoa, where did that come from?
I don't know. I think your son's had to do like a lot of growing up with all the things in his life,
Mm-hmm.
you know, in the past few years. And for that being said, like the maturity both your kids have shown, right, is amazing.
Yeah, I think they're pretty good.
They're great kids. They're great. Your home is so much more harmonious now. I shit you not. Even though you have like lizards,
You have
I
lizards.
do have
Oh,
lizards.
jeez.
even though you have like lizards,
Cat, dog.
You
But
got
no birds.
No birds.
No birds. I don't ever want a bird again.
but there's just this sense of not like tension in the air,
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
and that makes a difference.
We actually enjoy talking to each other. It makes a big difference.
Yeah, your skin has never looked better. Like your pallor is good. Your the attitude in your home is just so pleasant. And like I said, you guys are actually a cute couple.
Well, we get our issues too, still. But,
Yeah, I'm not saying you don't have issues, but you're all fucking adorable.
well, you haven't seen us with our issues, so you can't. Like, with the previous one, it was broadcast.
Yeah, it was pretty out
Well,
there.
yeah, you guys were in a constant state of like, don't say anything, can't say anything, will make things worse.
Kaboom!
Right. But I don't think your fights are like, get the fuck out and never come back.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, that's not
I don't think so. I don't think you're gonna be throwing clothes out of the top window of your house into
I
the
really want to see that happen sometime to somebody. Like, I see it on TV,
Yeah.
on sitcoms. But I really want to drive past a house where I see the
There's a
lady
yard
just
sale.
throwing
Yeah.
stuff out the window.
Yeah.
Like,
I've seen that.
did you?
Oh, yeah.
Where did that happen?
There's a bartender over there, so he's gone now.
Oh, this is the one I'm thinking of.
I don't know.
Was it the dude that had problems with
Fidelity? Yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So I seen that happen, and I watched him get like basically his kids taken away,
Oh.
and he had a lot of woe is me, but there's a lot of like, actually, bro, she's right.
Well, it's like,
We like you a lot better because you're right. She's a bitch, but she's got the high ground on this one, dude. So, yeah. Actually, I've seen that happen there twice. So,
Oh, really?
Yeah. The other one was the other way around. So I think the dude left, because he was about to get found out.
oh,
Yeah.
Oh.
But he was up to the same shenanigans. So
That's usually the one that
kind of
gets
a notice. Yeah. Like, yeah. Oh well. But I have seen that. We had to go pick him up, and she was throwing his shit out. She let his dog out. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh man. I've seen people fight.
She was that mad.
Yeah.
She was that mad.
I've seen people fight about who gets to keep the animal.
Oh no. This one was you get your fucking. In fact, I'm gonna let the gate open right now. So yeah. She was that mad.
Was she in the right?
She was. Not about the dog thing, but that was probably a step too far, but that didn't make any of the other stuff okay. So, shall we say.
It's fair. Don't do that.
No, don't do that. So
It's just all human history is like,
Filled
why
with
do you
that
keep
one.
thinking you're the guy that has this figured out?
right.
I guess some of them do. They're the ones that say that we're in the poly relationship
Polyamory.
thing or whatever.
Oh my god, I've seen so many of those explode
It's,
over the years. Yeah, they're kind of funny. It's like, oh, you guys are doing that, huh? All right, let me go.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go whip him some popcorn right now.
Let me start this timer.
Exactly. I'm gonna mark this
well.
day on the calendar.
Dude, I think I've said this to you before. It's like there is a fraction of a percentage that are mentally equipped and okay with that, and then take that also small fraction and say, oh, I happen to be with the other person who is also in that tiny fraction
Yeah.
that's okay. That does happen.
Well, I've seen girls do it and say that it's okay to try and save a relationship, only to have it like 2 months later is like, actually, fuck this and fuck you.
It always makes it worse.
Yeah, it always makes it worse.
Always makes it worse. We're not
So-
equipped as a
And
species.
you're not going to
handle
find
that.
too many guys who are willing to sign up for that.
No.
With the woman who is like, no. Actually, that's it's going to be you and another guy.
Right.
Yeah, and he's like, well, wait a minute, I want another woman. And he's like, no. It
Right.
doesn't work that way. So
Right.
I've seen one guy try and pull that off, and it was like, actually, you're not really bi. You're just gay, aren't you?
Right.
Yeah.
Then go be gay.
Then go be gay.
That's cool.
That's fine.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I totally understand. And the other thing is, like with guys, it's like, well, you don't have to do this because the answer then is just, well, break up.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's
Yeah.
like, do whatever you want, but just don't do that behind someone's back, man. That's so. Or I don't know. That's
Leads
yeah,
to
that's
trouble.
Yeah, it's yeah. I mean, that's not as bad as shooting a cat with an arrow or something, but it's pretty
Wait,
far
why
out
would
there.
that?
And that's kind of
come
turned into
up?
my standard lately of like, just like being evil scum. So because there was a thing on my Ring camera the other day where someone's
Oh yeah.
this was like a couple
yeah,
weeks ago or
yeah.
something where like someone shot a cat with an arrow, the cat lived and stuff, but it was like, who the fuck would do that? That's some fucked up 14-year-old kid, or it's a really fucked up 45-year-old man. So,
Oh,
and so those are kind of my standards for human
Gotcha.
depravity,
okay.
So,
I was
yeah.
just wondering. I was like, all right, that's a pretty.
Yeah. But it's also like, okay, it's not that bad, but it's pretty bad, So,
The standard for human depravity. Okay, I can leave on this. Will, what are your thoughts? What would be your thing that lets you know, like, oh, this is a fucked up person? Short of like, well, he's keeping preserved heads in his.
Yeah, I haven't really come across people like that yet. Nothing that stands out to me.
well, there's someone in my neighborhood who met that standard, and so
That killed the cat, or
did not kill the cat. He just
Or
shot the
killed
cat
it
with an
with an
arrow.
arrow. Yeah.
So-
but you don't know who it is. It just happened to come up on the radar.
No, if
Okay.
I did know who that guy was,
would've
we would out
reported
him, instantaneously.
Like, I have no bones for somebody that, protected species or not, shoots a BB at the woodpecker, right?
Yeah,
I have
really close. to
no
doing that.
problem with
Yeah.
that whatsoever, right?
You're not supposed to do that though.
That does not. I get it.
I meant to scare it.
The wind. It was the wind. Yeah.
I have no problem with that because you are protecting your home, and they will destroy it.
And I did feel bad.
Of course, because you don't want to have to do that.
Well, it didn't die. I just saw it drop. And then it wasn't there, so it must have gone off somewhere. Unless a cat was just like waiting at the bottom.
Lucky day. Lucky day.
If a cat was waiting, it wouldn't have hit the ground.
Right. Yeah,
It would
exactly.
have snatched it midair. And I think, yeah, that's sort of. There's two things that I can think of. Number one is any kind of cruelty to animals, deliberate cruelty to animals, and the other thing would be like parking lot shenanigans. Like,
Oh.
if you can tell, if you can see, like, this person's got their blinker on and they're waiting for the spot, and you just swoop in and take it.
I'm watching Breaking
Nobody
Bad.
gets up there with animal cruelty.
No, it's just something. I know who you are if you do that.
Yeah, I don't know. That was I don't think that's quite as clear a
It's
signal.
not. No, I just
Yeah.
if you do that, it's like I
You could
know
have just
who you
grown
are.
up somewhere else, you know. Because I mean, like, okay, my school is very international, and there are people who will not hold the door open for you, but they're all from India, so it's okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, you know,
Right.
they will jack your parking spot as well. They're not bad people. So I mean, but if they shot an arrow through a cat,
No matter where.
no
you're
matter
from.
where you came from, you're bad. Okay, so
Well, except in one other circumstance where, after having shot the cat, because of where you come from, you clean it and eat it.
okay, all right, so yeah, all right. At that point,
That's
it's
where the cruelty comes in, right?
Well, that you're not domesticated at that.
No.
You're not even country mouse. You're just country.
You don't know that Safeway exists.
Yeah, exactly. You know, so yeah, you're just. I mean, you're still technically a pig, but you've gone full bore on us. You know,
Right.
Yeah,
Well, you are surviving.
right.
You're not living.
right.
You're just surviving. I get
Yeah.
it. It's different.
So cat equals food. You know that in itself is also in a different category. That's You're
Correct.
just feral.
Yeah. And to me, there's just something about like that etiquette of like the parking lot. But you can see it's like, well, he's right there, and if you just zip in and take it, it's just like I said. I feel like I know something about you. It's just like I wouldn't.
I get that they're a jerk.
The jerk, but you might also be from somewhere else where that's okay. You might be
Or,
from the
or you
Bronx.
just might be a
never know.
jerk.
Yeah,
and
you might
that's
just
going to
be a
happen.
jerk.
And I get
And
that.
that's all I need to know about you.
Okay.
Well, I don't want to
But
be
I
your
wouldn't say
friend,
that's
but that's
equivalent
like-
to like you know.
I'm not
animal
saying it's
cruelty.
equivalent,
Oh,
but it's
okay,
just
all
saying I know everything I need to know about you.
right. Okay. All right.
Right?
Yeah.
Once I see that happen. And I don't know if you have any other telltale things that you would look at.
I mean, I got a lot of little ones that are like that. Like, you know, if you're Mr. Coupon and use 12 coupons at the checkout, you know, I kind of feel the same way as someone stealing my parking space. You know, it's like it's like pick one, pick a good one, you know, kind of thing. You know, so you're that guy. So you're trying to you know.
And that you don't apologize to the people behind you.
Well, you don't let them go first. You look at the other guy's basket. He's got like 3 things
Yeah,
in it. You
yeah.
got 50 things and 900 coupons, and you're like, you just look at him as like, haha, you're gonna be here a while. It's like, fuck you. So you know, kind of thing.
What about people who buy something, intend to use it, knowing they're going to return it?
That's pretty low rent too, man. So I've seen people do that, yeah, with like carpet cleaners and shit. You know, or like I knew a guy at the airport who refused to get trash pickup, and he'd take his trash and put it in the back of his car and throw it in the dumpster at the airport. It was like, if you need to do that, you need more than one job, bro. So, you know.
I can.
That guy. Yeah.
My mother was doing that.
See, that's yeah, I'm sorry, man.
That's just you being cheap.
She's cheap, right?
Would she admit to being cheap? If you called her cheap,
100%.
would she get mad?
Yeah.
No, she totally own it.
Yeah.
She fully recognizes she's cheap until the point that, I mean, she's the one that will sleep with her house at like 58 degrees.
Yeah.
Even though she can afford all the heat she could possibly want. Yeah.
100% afford it.
See, that's some kind of
It's
like
just
brain wiring.
wiring.
Well, no,
Yeah.
that is like we talked about. If you grew up in the Depression, right? There are certain things, and for her, like when she was growing up,
Growing
dude,
up, like-
Well,
fucking.
there might be people out there who grew up in the parking spot depression.
No, they no, there's no such place.
Well, see, their parents were the ones holding the sign in the parking lot, so the spaces were a premium.
Holding a
So-
sign?
Yeah, saying, please donate, my child is cold
Oh.
and hungry.
God dang,
Okay,
okay, you're gonna end on that one, but go for it.
No. Okay, all right.
Or
All right.
let me go. I don't know.
Have you ever seen people that hold parking spaces where they will just stand in the space because they're waiting for
I've
somebody?
seen it on
I've
TV.
seen
I
that on
haven't
TV.
seen it actually happen
Yeah.
yet.
I absolutely would not tolerate that.
I think
Well,
I
you're not gonna run
I
that
actually
dude
did
over.
it once. I don't remember where we were, if it was like Denver or something like that, but I was out and I literally just stood in the spot because we were like circling around and all this kind of stuff, and I grabbed a spot and then our friends came up and
Yeah,
parked
okay.
in there.
I think that's kind of low rent, but you know.
When you're in college, that's
Well, you're in college,
Well,
yeah.
obviously, right. We're all susceptible to change, but there are people who do that on the reg, and I'm sorry, that doesn't belong to you.
No, that doesn't belong to you. You're not entitled to that.
I haven't seen that in person.
Yeah.
I hate the people that go opposite of the one way in the parking lot. Like
Oh, I've seen that. Yeah.
all the cars are parked like this, and
wrong
you're
way.
coming the opposite way, and it's like
To be fair, I've made that mistake myself.
Mistake?
You know, yeah.
Yes.
then I've done it too, and I'm like sorry
Sorry.
as I drive
Yeah.
by, not like I've seen them be like
Yeah.
like, get out of the way. It's like-
look out of the way.
you get the
Yeah. I've seen that a couple of times, but yeah.
Again, my whole thing is I'll never begrudge someone a mistake. It's when they're doing these things on purpose.
Right.
And the whole idea of standing here, right, and protecting a spot, that's not an accident. Going up the wrong way, you might do it on purpose.
Yeah.
It all depends on the reaction. If that person, like, dude, fucking, like, traffic is we're all, nobody is perfect. Everybody has made some mistake, but we all act like it's the first time it's ever happened. Or like you've never made a transgression, right? Everybody has. Like, shit, I don't live here. I didn't even, it's barely labeled, right? That's like, I didn't know this was a one-way street. No problem, I'm sorry, right? Same thing goes, like, if somebody starts backing out, right? I'm not going to flip out because a lot of times, like, if you go to this Safeway parking lot where there's that row of buildings and then Safeway, right? Depending on who you're parked next to, there's no way to even see if there's any cars
Oh,
coming
yeah. No, that's fine.
come out of the way.
Yeah.
And some people are like, what the fuck? How could you do this? I have the right of way clearly. It's like,
There's
dude,
there's
you
people who
can't
get
see.
absolutely retarded when it comes to driving.
Total
So,
accident,
yeah.
right? But
Right.
when you do shit on purpose, like, that guy's gonna park there. He's been waiting for this person to pull out.
Yeah.
You did that on You knew.
You knew. You
Right.
could just take one of those spots over there. But your fat ass won't walk an extra 50 yards.
Okay, I cut you off,
No,
Pat.
you're
What were
fine.
you gonna say?
So panhandlers, there's panhandlers over here at your intersection. Over here.
oh yeah, they like walk.
They're fucking
through.
aggressive. Yeah, and so do not give those guys any money. And this is a public service announcement. I was like parked there the other day trying to get up to home, and the light rotation was kind of shitty. So anyway, these guys, they were going in between the lanes, up and down.
Oh no!
So some guy behind me had his window rolled down. He's like, "Hey man, you guys want a job?" And they just looked at him. They're like, "No," and they just kept doing the thing. So fucking complete shysters. So yeah. So
And there's 4 of them.
if you see
They
any
have one on each
panhandlers,
one, and when the opposite side goes red, those 2 will come out and start wandering through.
and they're
then they get
obviously
off.
not from around here.
Yeah.
So
and then they'll go, and the other 2 will rotate and grab the
it's
and they just keep going back and forth.
and they'll go right between the lanes
Yep.
and shit. And so
And they literally hold the sign up like to your window.
to your window. They're very aggressive about it, and so they complete, like in the economy. The numbers came out the other day. The job market in this town is so fucking good right now that if you see someone who's panhandling, that's what they want to do. So do not give them any money. End of public service.
Perfect. 100% agreement.
All right, I'm Pat.
I'm Will.
Hey, I'm Jeffrey.
Do not give them money.